What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading, and we are back. We are back with another daily trade review. But before we get into that trade review, I just want to give RT over at Relentless Traders a big thank you. I was in his Sunday live Q&A yesterday, and he gave me a shout out and asked his members to come on over and subscribe if they hadn't already subscribed. Get me over the 200 limit. And that is exactly what they did. Push me over 200 subscribers. So I want to give RT a shout out for that. And let's go ahead. Let's talk about today. Today was a decent day in the market. We took a few good trades. We took a few not so good trades. But at the end of the morning, we did finish in the green. Today, we are not going to look at the thumbnail watch list because I got to try to condense this video down. I actually recorded my trades again today, traded the first hour this morning. So I want to try to condense that down as much as I can. So we're going to go straight on over to TRADERVUE, look at the details, and then we will get the recording pulled up. So reviewing trades for Monday, July 25th. Took 8 trades today. Closed P&L 91.55. Almost made 2R on the day today. Even trading the way that we did. 2 red trades today, both of them on GOVX. I need to stay away from these little cheap stocks. Need to stay away from them. SIGA made a few bucks on this first trade. When we watched this trade right here, when we watched that trade, man. RDBX, basically flat. Got in this trade, didn't like it, so basically got out flat. IEA, this one could have been something special. Decent trade on BHP. We were only risking 25, so we made 1R. We came back, we traded SIGA again. Let's take a look and see what the unrealized on this one was. So unrealized 62, risking 25 on that one. So that one had made us our 1R. Moved it up, moved the target up, moved the stop up, and came back and got us. And then BHP traded it again. This was a short. We was risking $10. We hit target on that one. So that was our morning. Fairly good morning for somebody who does not actually take real trades. But let's go ahead. Let's pull up our recording so we can see if we were actually taking real trades. I said I'm going to change my moniker to the trader who don't really trade. I like the way that sounds. It makes no sense to me. Somebody would think that. But let's go ahead. Let's get this video started. All right. So we got this started just a little past market open. We did have Apple on the thumbnail watch list. I guess I should have showed the thumbnail watch list so y'all would have known what my ideas were for the morning. I guess that would have made a little bit of sense, but we were watching Apple, Amazon, BHP, GOVX, MP, RIO. We had Tesla, but this was our first trade, GOVX. Walk you through it real quick. So GOVX had opened, came down. We had this line on the chart. And then we had this engulfing candle coming back up. And then over on the 1 minute chart, we had this engulfing candle. So I got in the trade. And then I looked to the left. And then I looked and I saw I had this area on the chart already marked. And then I said, I want to get the heck up out this trade. I don't like it. So you see, I brought my target down already. And watch, I bring it all the way down to get me out of this trade because I do not like what I'm seeing. It's still good, but I should have waited until this candle closed and then this candle actually broke the high of that candle. So I got in before I really got my buy signal. But again, it's looking good here on the 2 minute. It's looking good here with this nice bottoming tail. It's looking good on the 15, but it's looking horrible on the 1 minute with the pre-market turned on. And then we got pre-market turned on the 5 as well. So if you're just looking at this on a 2 minute chart with no pre-market, this really don't look that bad. Look like you got a nice engulfing. But when you look with the pre-market turned on and you see all that junk over there, it's like, no, this is not a good trade. Look around. You about to give up some money. The question is how much? So you see, I'm trying to limit my exposure in this one. And this is the other key. This is something I like this on the ladder. This is giving me the number of, this is giving me the volume. So I'm gonna pause that real quick. This is giving me the volume for this particular dollar amount. So once this broke that area, this is the high volume area. So this is the barrier. This is a line. You don't want to drop below that line. You saw it dropped and then it tagged me. Lost $15 on the trade. So that's why I said I needed to get in at $1.12, the high of the day. That's getting in above where all of this congestion is at, or even getting in at 113. But if this was a good trade, it probably would have blew on through that, but not a good trade. So donated $15 to the market on that trade. But we go ahead, we start looking at our thumbnail watch list, trying to see what else is out there, and we run across SIGA. Pause this one real quick for you. So SIGA opened, flushed down, came back up above previous high of day. You go always hear me say I love that. Came up, pulled back, and now it's retesting it. So let's get rolling. So I'm checking the range on that candle. It was 20 cents. I'm getting everything ready. 40 cents target. Number of shares, 250. Is that right? Yep, that is right. That's a $50 risk. But now look, we see that candle then started growing. So now it's at 25 cents. So now we're readjusting. 200 shares now. Now my entry, when it breaks the high of that candle. So I technically have missed it. The trade is running. So kind of chasing a little bit to get filled. And then, so our target is good, our stop is good, but watch this thing. So I'm gonna try to pause this one as it's moving. So right now we're in the good, 17 bucks. We bring our stop up. This is gonna happen so quick. Let me pause it. Let's pause it. So if y'all remember my last video, I said expectation. Gotta have expectation. So first area of expectation is right here. That should be first area of concern, and then after that. But let's look at something real quick. Look at my entry, $14.32. Let's look at where I moved my stop to, $14.37. And we can actually look right here and kind of see it. So the target is at about $14.70. Let's see if we can catch it though while the video's running. Bam, doggone it. You saw how quick that was? Let's bring it back. So move the stop up. I go to look. I'm going to look to see where my target is at. Market is closed. So the high of this move, we had hit 1R. So that's why I moved my stop up, because we had got up 1R. But I'm trying to, bam, there we go. Look at where my target is at, 1472. So entry, 1432. I moved my stop to 1437, target 1472. I know it's a lot to remember, but let's see if we can do it. And watch this. Bam. That thing came down. Let's look at time and sales. 1437. That's where I had put my stop at. We got 1435. Nowhere in there do we have 1432. So had I put my stop at 1432, We wouldn't have stopped out. That's important because watch this. Watch what this thing does. Remember, target was 1472. So we back up to 1457, 1462, 1468, 1477, 1488. We would have hit target. We would have hit target if our stop was at break even or had we left the stop alone. So that's our second trade of the morning. And we just made $8.54. But watch what this thing does. And you'll see why I was tightening everything up. See, we had this area marked on the chart. That's important in the morning before you start trading, is to mark all your areas on the chart so you know what them expectations. Look at that thing. So you know what the expectation is. Look at it. This thing never does come back down here, by the way. It never gets back down there near where the stop or anything was at. During the morning session, it did in the afternoon. But that was our second trade. I was like, doggone it, wicked. Let's go ahead, let's scroll on through. Let's see, what time do we take our next trade? 9:46. So we'll kind of just scroll through here. So now we're scrolling through, looking for some other ideas. Nothing on THC. IEA. This one was on the watch list as a non-biased stock. It was on my short list because of this big gap. So I was like, well, maybe this thing's going to fade the gap. But once it opened and it kind of held, I was like, nope, it's good. But we come back over. We done got blazed on SIGA. So now we're looking for another entry. This one is going to be if it holds this area right here. So we see 40-cent stop, 80-cent range, getting locked and loaded on it, but we don't take a trade. We do not take a trade on this one. That candle there was 69 cents. But no trade was taken. So I'm going to go ahead, speed this up again. We'll speed it up. You did see that it had an order in the system, though. But we canceled it out. Scrolling through, we find Snap. Snap is looking like it's setting up for a 3-bar play. We got this wide range candle breaking up over previous low of day, which is the red line. Little resting candle here. So get my numbers. Was that 23 cents? I think that was 23. Maybe that big candle was 23. Yeah, that big candle was 23. So that was a 10-cent stop. So once that did that, this is no longer valid. The only thing now you could try to play is a pullback, what Jared would like to call a buy setup over at Professional Trading Strategies. But no trade there. What time we looking at? It is 9:44. We got a couple of minutes before. So we scroll through, we find red box, same setup. I look at this as one big candle. This is a little resting candle. So this is being, I'm gonna play this just like as if it was a 3-bar play. It's actually holding over the 50 moving average, getting everything loaded in. That candle's 40 cents. Gave it an 80-cent target. That's 125 shares. So I'm doing a half size. I only do 65 shares. Entry if it breaks the high of that candle. That's what I didn't do on that first GOVX trade out the box or out the blocks, was get in when it's breaking the high of that candle. But this thing just kind of chugs along. Don't really do nothing. Again, if it breaks the low of that candle, this trade becomes invalid. But I go on to look at another idea. End up going back to GOVX, as a matter of fact. And we see, look what GOVX did. GOVX would have stopped us out right here. But we wouldn't have never gotten the entry. So we wouldn't have gotten stopped out. And then we could have got the entry right there. That would have been the good entry off of this. But now we're looking to take another trade. This was not a good trade either. Because look, it's already broke the high of that candle. This candle needed to stop first. So not a good entry. Not a good entry. Because we're not getting in on something that we liking. And then you look over to the left again, got all this junk over here. But look what we did. We wanted to get 500 shares. I missed a zero, so I only bought 50. So then I come back and bought another 450. Moving the target up to that first area right there. And again, this was another one. It's like, Look over here at the 1 minute. We see the same little area of junk over there, but this thing is pretty extended on the 1 minute. Pretty extended. One thing that I could have done was use this area right here as support, but it would have made me have to widen that stop up from the 1R. But in the meantime, we noticed that we had gotten triggered in on Redbox. And Redbox had made a nice little pop, but that's all it did. It kind of stalled out. So once it did that, I'm tightening up again. I'm like, nope, I don't like that. Let me tighten it up. Boom, it stops us out. Let me take a look at Redbox and see what it had did. $9.45. I think Redbox actually, that probably would have been a good trade. Let's see. Nah, did good. It kind of stalled out right there. Made a little pop and then stalled out. But still looking for ideas. Come across Amazon. Amazon, just like GOVX, we had a nice engulfing bar off of the open. So this one here, I'm looking at this 5-minute candle right here. And I'm playing this 5-minute candle to close. Playing this 5-minute candle to close, the next one to break the high of it. Might catch a little bit of resistance right there, but that was the thought on this one. So if you look, you see the time itself was at 9:49, had a couple of seconds. So that's why I put that order in, because it had enough room on it. But we come back over to GOVX. We are not going to take a trade on GOVX. We're just looking at it. So I'm going to fast forward. Actually, I'm going to go back. Let's go back a little bit. So y'all remember IEA? I said I was looking for this to either fade back down or just chug along. So when it opened and it held, 10-cent stop, 30-cent target, 3-to-1, 250 shares. So we're only risking $25. So let's do the math on that. So we're getting in at 13.34, 30-cent stop, 13.64 is target. I'm going to pause that real quick. So 13.64 is target on that. Let's go ahead. Let's bring this up onto the, this is the active thinkorswim. So we were getting in right over here, 13.34, right around here. Remember I said 13.64 is target. So this thing never would have stopped us out. It would have hit target on that candle right there. That high of that candle was 13.65. So 1145. So this would have did exactly what I thought it was going to. Look at it. It just chugged all day long. This is 1 o'clock. It's at 1372. So the thought on this one was right. The thought on this one is right. And you say, why am I saying that? Because I got out of this. Like, I didn't let this trade work. I ended up just getting out for 1R based on what we were risking in the trade. But solid thought on that one. This is Amazon. Order still in the system. Again, we're playing it to break that candle. But look at it. It's not really a good trade. Look at all of this junk over here to the left. Look at all of this junk. So we ended up not getting in this trade. We ended up closing this one out, canceling it. But that was the thought. That's why we had it in the system. And we see that it's pulling back, not really showing any strength. So we'll fast forward. Back looking at GOVX. I have to quit looking at these little low price stocks. This is not my cup of tea. I'm not a small cap, low float type trader. I prefer mid and large cap. So I need to quit looking at those stocks. But rotating through the thumbnail watch list, we see RIO. See it kind of making this little W bottom. It does set a higher low right there. Just over the over VWAP. So just getting everything looked at. 11-cent candle. So we'll go ahead. Let's see what kind of stop we would have gave that one. We gave it a 12-cent stop. 25-cent target. 12 cent would have been 417 shares. Let's see how many shares we put. We do 210, so that's a half lot. Now, entry is if it breaks the high of that candle. If it breaks the low, that trade is invalid. Really would want to get in after this candle forms and it's a green candle. That's really where I would want to be getting in at. But we're going to see. Let's look at these other charts and see. So that bottom and tail's there. That's good. Got a top and tail forming there. This candle finishing up here would make this candle finish up there. And then you can get in off the 5-minute, or you can get in off of the 2-minute. But again, we're being preemptive, putting everything in, not ready to make a trade on it. We're back over here looking at GOVX. GOVX, the chart on GOVX was looking good. Just don't like trading these little low stocks. And again, we got junk over here still. We got this junk. So even though we got had that nice tail, it was junk. But this was BHP. Look at this one. Let's pause it. Remember on RIO, it had the same setup for the most part, only it had a higher low right here. But this one, top and tail, but we're getting this candle to break the high. So let's see what we're doing. So we're giving this a 10-cent stop, 20-cent target. 10 cent is 500 shares. We buy 250, so we buy a half position. And entry is going to be 52.68. See, now let's see, what time is it? 9:55. So I'm waiting on that candle to close before I actually put my order in the system. 'Cause I've been getting burned by putting it in and it triggering. So 9:56, boom. The minute that candle breaks it, I'm in there. This is a very aggressive entry. This entry was aggressive only because on this, what I like to see is it come up, pull back, test the VWAP, and then go. It's still going to have room. So that was an aggressive entry. But back looking at GOVX, I keep on coming back again because the chart looks so good. I like the way these charts look. Even though you got this little junk over here, I still like it. Like it's coming up, doing that. I just still like it. But again, we're risking 25 on BHP. It's working, going in our favor. First area of concern, it's going to be right there. That's first area of concern right there. So we see we got our target way up here. So got to have expectation. Like I said, we learned that from last week's video. Make sure we have the expectation. So let's just kind of scroll through this one real quick. We see this coming back down, testing that VWAP. It was aggressive. We come back over, we look, see what IEA is doing since we in that trade. We move our target up higher. 1374 is where we move our target up to. What did this thing ever hit a high of? High of the day was 1370. So it didn't ever hit that target. But look at what it's doing. We up 1R. So boom. We move our stop to break even because we were up 1R. Scroll this on up. Scroll it up again. So we're back looking at BHP. BHP is down there flirting with our target. Look. Down 18 bucks. Let's fast forward. Back looking at RIO. Now look at this. RIO is doing what we thought it would do once it breaks this area. First area of concern. We look at this candle to the left. It got room to move back up there. But come on back over, look and see. BHP is finally doing what we thought it would do. BHP is finally doing what we thought it would do. Now this one, it may catch a little bit of flack right there, but I'm still thinking the main area of concern is right there on this one. So let's go ahead, let's scroll it, let's speed it up a little bit. It's just still chugging. It needs to get over, bam. It got over that first area that we were concerned about. So we just about up 1R on the trade. There we go. We come back over, look. Remember, this one was just about to stop us out down here for break even. So it's still kind of chugging. We got both of those working. We come back over, we check out BHP. BHP, it's almost at target. BHP is actually almost at target. Let's scroll that. Look at it, it's coming on back down. Now remember, I said first area of concern is kind of hidden right there. Look at where it came to. Right there to that first area. That's having expectation. So now I'm like, let me get out. Let me pause that. Look at where it's at. It came right to that area. So we got out for 1R on that one. Like, all right, let's just take the 1R. So we out of that one. Decent trade, but we still in this one. It's still doing its thing. And we come back over and we look at SIGA. This one kind of curling like GOVX was doing, but let's look at the charts. Decent, it's holding this area. We got this line on the chart, so it's holding it. Come up, look at the 5 up. We want to go look at snap first. Oh, that's why, hold on. Let me bring that back. So while I'm looking at this one, I'm glancing at the thumbnail watch list. Pause. I see Snap. Snap did this nice move off the open, pull back. Remember, Snap is on my short list. Left this, and I see this right here. And I'm like, oh, snaps. Let me take this short. Let me see what this candle is. I want to get in when it breaks it. The stop is going to be right there. Y'all know what I do. And look at the room that it has going down. We got this little line, but that one, very insignificant in the grand scheme of the weight that's on this thing. So watch this. Trying to get it before I can even get it in there. So it's already up 1R. Think about that. That's already up 1R. Boop. That's target. It would have hit target right there. And it's still going. Still going. That thing popped so quick that I couldn't get the math done. And that's why I said, even using my little cheat sheet, seconds matter. So I missed that one. That was like up. So back looking at MP. MP is kind of holding this area right here. It's holding. Not much stuff over there on the left. So this one wouldn't have been bad, but this candle has broke that candle. I didn't want to see that. Didn't want to see this candle break that candle. So let's go check out SIGA, what we was just looking at. So look at this one. Nice bottom and tail, testing the 9 moving average. Look at the 5-minute, nice bottom and tail, holding this area. 15, oh, I'm sorry, this is the 1 minute. Usually that's going to be the 30, I hadn't changed it. Look at the 15 down here. Bottom and tail, holding this area. So let's do some numbers. 23 cents on that candle. So we're going to give it a 25-cent stop. 200 shares. That's a full position on that one. Put the order in the system. Yep, 25 cents, 200 shares. So we are sized up on that one. Now we just waiting on it to trigger us in. Again, if this candle comes and breaks the low of that candle, the trade becomes invalid. I take my order out of the system. We're going to fast forward it. We come back. We over here looking at this one again, seeing what it's doing. I ended up just, all right, so while we were looking at that one, that triggered us in. And I noticed it. I'm like, oh, we triggered in. And look at it. It then already ran. So I moved my stop to break even. In this market, now if this was a hot market, I really wouldn't be moving my stop to break even. But because the way that this market is, when it's like making these quick false moves, it's best just to get out of the stock break even. Even though I notice most of the time that I move it to break even, they still run. But let's look at this one. Look at it. We just about at 1R on this thing. Still kind of moving. So now we're looking over here, seeing where this thing may run into some issues at. So kind of move the stop up. Still got a little steam left in it. And now I'm just going to kind of chase it. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. We back to being up 1R on the trade. Fast forward. It's still working in our favor. Now you can see this little candle right there. See that little tiny, that long, ain't no little one. That's a long wick. So looking at that to kind of work as a little resistance. So let's check it out. Now you see we've moved our target for expectation. We've moved our target. There we go, moving it again though. Should have left it there. Let's see what it does. We come back over, looking at IEA. Again, it's just a slow grinder. I should have just left this one alone and just let it do what it was going to do, put whatever my risk was. So we back looking at SIGA. SIGA is doing good. It then got past, actually, no, it's still fighting right there. And that's when I'm like, oh, let's just, and look what it did. Soon as I moved my stop up, watch what it do. Flush down, stop me out. It's another one. I'm going to look at that one real quick while we're watching that play out. SIGA, that's at 10:15. Smart move. Smart move. Let me pause it real quick. That was 10:15. Let's come over here. That was 10:15. That's right here. That was this candle right here. Actually, let me see. 15:33. Yep. So that was right up in here. It made the pop and then it flushed down. So that was a good thought out exit. Because again, it's fighting with that area right there. Just could not get over it. So now we back looking at this one. And then I just decide just to get out of this thing. Watch, let me bring it, fast forward it. I finally just decide, man, let's get out of this. Let's make 1R. Let's go ahead, make 1R. Smart trade, but let's get out. Boom, got out. Made 27, made 1R out of it. Because I was basically done for the morning. I was done for the morning. And now I'm just sitting, me and Evan, just texting back and forth, seeing what he was trading. I'm listening to RT over at Relentless Traders chat room, scrolling through now because there's nothing on the watch list doing anything. I'm scrolling through the pre-market gap list. These were stocks that were at the top of the pre-market gap list. Now I'm just setting this back. Normally I would have changed this back to the 30-minute after the first 30 minutes. I was a little slow on getting that done, but let's scroll through. And let's see, 33. So yeah, we got a long ways to go. Keep scrolling. So nothing really. All right, there we go. So I look at remember we took a long on this one, but I look at the thumbnail watch list and I see that it's stalled out here and it left this big red candle. Then we got this little doji here, but I don't want to get in on the doji. So what I say is, once this candle closes, I want to get in when it breaks the low of that candle. Of course, my target is going to be, or my stop is going to be on the back end. But look at the room that it has down. And that's what I was looking at. Look at the room that it has down. So I got targets, I got stop set at 8 cents. My target is still set at 20 cents. It should have been set to 16 cents. But I'm getting in when this candle breaks the low of that candle. And then Evan, he asked me, he's like, what do you see in that trade? And I'm like, I see this is heavy. Even though this got a little top and tail, when this breaks, the way I look at it, the weight of it is going to push it down. So I got my bracket in. Once I got in the trade, I was like, man, this thing got room all the way back down to previous high of day. But let's watch it. Let's watch it. Come on, trigger me in. Because I'm not going to trigger in. There we go, till it breaks that candle. And again, now I'm thinking the weight of that candle. So we got our stop set, $10. That's good. Our target is a little further than where our target should have been at. First area of concern should be right there, because this is breaking that candle. That's breaking that candle. So the next one is going to be like right here. So let's fast forward a little bit. That candle's closed. Fast forward it again. We go back looking for some stuff, even though I said I was done. But, I looked at this one because this was a trade that Evan was looking at. So back to what I was looking at. Oh man, that quick it got out. Let's scroll back up. Scroll up one more time. And again. Dang, I went back too far. Man, I was trying to go back to where, because the target was initially set at 25. I moved it up to 2R. Moved it up to 2R. But look at this thing, man. This was a beautiful trade. This was a beautiful trade. Caught just a little bit of resistance right there, but watch once it gets over it. And like I said, first area was there, but I told Evan once I was in this trade, I was like, this thing got room all the way back down to previous high of day. I just didn't want to mess with my stop. 2-to-1. Let's get 2-to-1. Bam. It's done. And that was it. That was our morning right there. Last trade. Like I say, nice, solid trading today. Don't think I could have traded it any better other than that first SIGA trade. That one there kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because let me turn this back on real quick and let me kill that. Yeah, I just didn't see that happening on that trade. But again, nice overall decent day for somebody that doesn't trade, right? I don't know. You tell me. And maybe now they're going to say I'm stealing other people's trade ideas, like they tried to do another one of the guys that used to hang out in RT's chat room, Jonathan. They said that he's stealing other people's trade ideas. But I didn't think people had patents on actual trade ideas, because most of these patterns that we trade and have been around forever. Like I said, I came across live traders over there with Jared Wesley, but I got a book that's sitting here on my desk that I probably had maybe 15 years ago that I never really looked at, that shows what he calls a buy setup. So now has he stole somebody's trade idea? No. You could take a trade idea and perfect it and make it better for you. And that's somewhat what I'd be trying to do. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. This is another long one. 40 minutes long? If you've stuck around this long, please hit that thumbs up button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and we will be back at it again tomorrow. Peace.